They may be irrational, but they're very real fears.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 common phobias. Number 10, Cynophobia, the fear of dogs. For some, he's man's best friend. For others, he's their worst nightmare. Usually caused by a negative past experience, fears of dogs or cats are the most common animal phobias. Some sufferers only fear certain breeds, while others are just afraid of a dog's bite. But most are diagnosed between the ages of 5 and 9 and experience shortness of breath, palpitations, nausea, and more at the sight of a canine. Number 9, Trypanophobia, fear of injections and needles. While most kids aren't huge fans of needles, some adults never grow out of their fear of medical procedures that involve injections, and avoid them as a result, which can be dangerous for their health.
I can't do this.
If confronted by their fear, sufferers can expect an immediate rise in heart rate and blood pressure, followed by such a fast drop-off they may pass out, and in extreme cases, even die.
Just a perfect day.
Number 8, social anxiety disorder and glossophobia, the fear of social situations and public speaking. These phobias can significantly impact day-to-day life. In fact, social phobias are so dangerous, they can cause people to develop drinking and drug habits, eating disorders, and more, as a form of self-medication. The potential humiliation, embarrassment, and all too real grief caused by entering various social situations and speaking in front of people more commonly causes blushing, sweating, nausea, stammering, and panic attacks, and it's very difficult to overcome.
According to most studies, people's number 1 fear is public speaking. Number 2 is death. Death is number 2. Now this means to the average person, if you have to go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing the eulogy.
Number 7, Thanatophobia and necrophobia, the fear of death and dead things. One is a fear of one's own demise, the other a phobia of all things relating to death, including funerals, coffins, and corpses. These phobias can develop into an obsession for those cursed with them, with some launching vigorous health routines or attending doctors on an almost compulsive basis. These fears are drastically affected by one's cultural or religious beliefs and are some of the most powerful phobias going. Number 6, Coulrophobia and Pediophobia, the fear of clowns and dolls.
Aren't you going to say hello?
They're both symbols of childhood, but both can elicit fear in even the bravest adults.
Let's have fun.
The basis of both fears likely lies in the uncanny valley effect, where an object closely resembles a human but not exactly, to the point where it becomes creepy.
Can't sleep. Clown will eat me.
Researchers suggest the phobia of clowns is a relatively new phenomenon, but it is widespread. And for that, we can thank Stephen King.
You all taste so much better when you're afraid.
Hurry, Bev, kill it!
Number 5, acrophobia, the fear of heights. You'll never convince these folks to go bungee jumping, skydiving, or even on a Ferris wheel. But it's one of the most natural fears you can have.
Not a big fan of heights.
Tests show that even babies have an innate fear of heights. Not everyone's anxiety towards heights reaches the level of a phobia. You'll know you're an acrophobe if you have panic attacks or go out of your way to avoid high places. Number 4, pteromeranophobia, the fear of flying.
Let me off, 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 let me off.
Sometimes combined with claustrophobia, acrophobia, social anxiety, and even fear of death, the fear of flying prevents some sufferers from traveling by air at all.
Airline travel is very dangerous.
But don't be silly, it's the safest travel in the world. You're gonna love this, trust me.
Though it's known as the safest way to travel, logic does little to calm the fears of flying phobes. Most likely not an evolutionary-based phobia, as humans didn't fly until the 20th century. Pteromoraноphobia is sometimes blamed on the media for perpetuating negative situations. Number 3. Mysophobia, the fear of germs. Judging by hand sanitizer sales, this phobia is on the rise. Often called germaphobes, people who suffer from mysophobia are constantly washing their hands, are sometimes afraid of shaking hands or similar gestures, and are obsessed with contamination to the point where they cut themselves off from others. In fact, the fear may be related to obsessive-compulsive disorder and can lead to depression or isolation if not properly treated.
I'm not asking you to take sides. She didn't take the dogs to be mean. She's not a mean person. I'm asking you your opinion.
What is this?
What?
You didn't check your suit. There's a tear in it.
Number 2. Agoraphobia and claustrophobia, the fear of open and closed spaces. Not only is agoraphobia a fear of open spaces, it's also a fear of crowded areas or anywhere one might have trouble escaping.
I wish I could come, but I'm a borderline agoraphobic.
Borderline? Is that what you're calling it?
And it can get so bad, severe agoraphobes hold themselves up in their homes, as that's their only safe place. Claustrophobia, on the other hand, is triggered by various situations. Being buried alive is the worst-case scenario, but even elevators, trains, and windowless rooms are unbearable for sufferers. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
These starving brutes will shoot at you like bullets. Have you ever seen a rat leap through the air?
Number 1. Arachnophobia and ophidiophobia, the fear of spiders and snakes.
Chris, I'm scared to death.
And we all are. But our brains secrete a neurotransmitter and enables us to deal with them. Come on.
I don't think I have that particular neurotransmitter.
It takes a special kind of person to like these creepy crawly critters.
Can we panic now?
But there's a huge portion of the population that's terrified of spiders and snakes.
Don't like spiders.
And who can blame them? While more women than men claim to be arachnophobic, both irrational fears likely stem from evolution or personal experience. So what happens to people cursed with these fears? Even photographs can trigger anxiety attacks, screaming, fainting, and more. Do you agree with our list?
Yes!
Do you suffer from any irrational fears? Remember, many phobias are treatable, so you don't have to deal with them on your own. For more informative top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.